Sweet. We're live.
We're live. Welcome back, everybody. This is Matt and Scott with Stout Sportsman. Today we're going to be talking about our fantasy fishing picks for Lake Champlain coming up here in another week or so. Yeah. Well, it starts in a week from now. Yeah,
it starts in a week, and then it's the back-to-back. So you'll have Champlain and St. Lawrence.
Right, the following week.
And then they're done.
I know. There's like no southern. There's no southern swing like there was last year after the northern.
Yeah, that whole schedule last year was a pain in the butt, and I think this year they tried to just cram everything in the first, have it done before August, just in case something happened to where they had to reschedule.
Right.
So,
right.
It's kind of actually nice to see some July fishing up here. Usually their events are later in July and into August.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Looking over the past couple of years when they've fished Champlain, whether it's a lead or open or whatever, it's been late July, early August, and even 2016 open was in September. So it'll be a little bit different this year.
Yep. Before we get any further, like and share, comment, subscribe, do the hokey pokey, all those cool things. But yeah, it's if you can help us out, I think we're just shy. I think we're at 577 or something subscribers. So
yep,
try to grow the channel a little bit more, and hopefully everything goes out well. Good to see you fellows at it.
NorCal Nate.
Left leg in.
Left leg in.
Hey, NorCal Nate. I don't think we've heard from him in a while.
I don't think so. I think it's been a few minutes. Good, though. Good to hear from you.
So what are you drinking there, Matt?
This is Red Bull on the rocks. There's no alcohol in here today. So, yeah, we're driving out to Grandpa's for dinner later, so I gotta stay sober.
I got the Outdoorsman coffee, Serious Angler.
Mm-hmm.
I just did a review on that, so that'll be up on the channel shortly.
All right.
And then we got some grind espresso rum mixed into that. So
I'm gonna have to try that when I come up here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, well, I think we're gonna take it to Cuco with us.
Yes, we should. Yeah.
Hit that.
All right. Lake Champlain. So we're kicking that out July 8th through the 11th. So day one is going to start a week from today, Thursday, through Sunday. Typical 4 days. Takeoff 7 a.m. Eastern time and weigh-ins at 3 p.m. Eastern.
They did change it to. It is now in New York. It's not a Vermont anymore.
That is correct. That is Plattsburgh now.
Plattsburgh.
Yep. I wonder if the guys were complaining that they'd have to buy a Vermont license.
I think they would have to anyway.
To fish both sides.
Yeah, last year in September when Kim and I went, we got the Vermont license just to play it safe and open up more of the lake for us.
Right. Yeah. So. When you were up there, did you end up making the run down to Ticonderoga? No. That's a long run, isn't it?
It's I think it's like they said 65 miles from Plattsburgh to Ticonderoga, and my boat does 32 miles per hour. So you're looking at 2 minutes per mile. So you'd look at almost 2 hours and something minutes.
Wow.
Straight run.
Ouch.
Yeah,
that's literally half of your day.
Yeah. And we were there in September or mid-September, and the lake was pretty rough at points. So I wouldn't want to get down there, and it's just bad news.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was an elite angler, there'd have to be giants there, and I don't think there's big enough giants to make that run every day.
Yeah, to make it worthwhile. Does it get like rough? The couple of times that we fished Cayuga, and when I was there, just a month and a half ago, the one day we were out fishing lake trout, like 3-footers, and it was just a windy day, nothing special about it. But
I know when we were there, it was Kim and I were in 4-footers at one point.
Wow.
It's especially some of that open area on that lake. It gets pretty rough.
Yeah. Yep, I can imagine.
So, yeah, I just wouldn't want to be doing that.
No, I mean not after. I mean, if you wanted to make a longer run too, if you wanted to run down to the south end, I mean, you're not going to be able to do that in those type of waves.
No, and that's with that much money on the line, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to chance it.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, you could have a breakdown, or who knows.
Plus the gas prices these days.
You're telling me. All right.
So,
you gonna start out with weights?
Yeah, let's just get into it. We'll do weights and then, start Group A and
okay,
go through it.
I'll just give you my weight right off the bat, and I'm gonna kind of tell you why. 81 pounds, 8 ounces. Historically, looking at the opens, which are 3-day events and stuff, and then the previous elite series, like last year was 80 pounds 1. I listened to Rich Hellebass the other day, and he was actually thinking that the weights are going to be a little bit lighter.
Yep.
I don't know, like, are there going to be any spawning fish left up there? Probably not. So the weights may be down, but I don't know. I went a little bit higher anyways, just because it is a little bit earlier in the year than the previous tournaments up there. So that's what I'm doing.
I feel the same way. I'm going 77.5.
Okay.
So a little bit lighter. I mean, when you're talking 77 to 80, which was what won it last year, I mean, you're only talking like ounces per fish.
Per fish, right?
Yeah. So I see maybe the spawn being done. There may be a few still spawning.
There could be.
But from what I thinking is right after the spawn they lose a bunch of that spawning weight.
Right.
So they may catch them before they get back up to, before they start eating.
Right.
So it may be a little bit lighter, but I mean, we're talking a few ounces per fish, over 20 fish.
Yep. All right. All right. You want to start out with A group?
Yeah. And if you guys are joining us live, I see there's 4 people watching. Yep. If you're joining us, tell us what your group picks are. If you want to share that information, unless it's top secret.
Super secret.
Group A. Usually Matt would say I'd pick my buddy, crush. Yeah, my man crush, Brandon Polnick. But you know what? I know I'm not winning anything this year, so I'm going to try and win this event. And I'm going with, at 2.4%, Greg Hackney, who's done pretty well on Champlain. Yes. He's won Cayuga. I think he's done well on Oneida. So he knows how to fish grass. He knows how to flip. And he knows how to fish these northern lakes. And at 2.4%, I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean it's a good pick. I mean, you could probably close your eyes and just point at just about anybody in Group A right now and be pretty safe. I mean, there's tons of great picks out there. Obviously, your Fighter, your Johnston brothers, Scott Martin's a great pick. Palaniuk, your buddy, and just about everybody is a good pick. So
yeah. Before you make your pick, I had Scott Martin as like kind of one of those dark horse picks if he was not in Group A.
Oh yeah, definitely, but for sure.
I see him in Group A, and I'm like, you know what, can't do it.
Yeah. But he's got a bunch of wins up there and a lot of experience in New York. So.
Yep.
And at 5.8%, that's a good pick actually.
Yep.
But that being said, I'm going with Seth Fighter. My man.
I can't argue. I mean, it's the llama is he's on fire, and I can't argue with that. And
yeah, I mean, second place last year, the 2018 Open, he finished 24th. The 17 Elite, he finished second, and the 2014 Open was 26th. I mean, do I think he's going to win? No, but he will fish Sunday.
Yeah.
Period. He will. And if he doesn't, then I was wrong.
Before we go any farther, a little plug. Seth Fighter and Omnia Fishing. And I actually sent you an email on this.
I did see it. Yep.
They're actually giving away $5,000 in tackle to you and whoever you bring with you. And
if you want to bring somebody.
Yeah. So $10,000 in tackle.
Yep.
They'll fly you to Minnesota, and you get to hang out with Seth Fighter and pick out all your stuff with him.
Yep.
And hang out with him. I'm sure it'd be a good
Although
time.
Some of the fine print though that I did read, and it's not a bad thing. $1,200 of each 5,000 allocation to you and your friend or whatever. 1,200 of is immediately taken out for the Sims whatever rain gear bib setup.
Oh.
So you're gonna end up with 3,800 to actually buy stuff you want, but
honestly
still a great deal.
I started my list already, and that was kind of already on my list. So.
Right. Yeah. It's like, well, we don't want to come up there until you guys have ample stock and max scent. Because I don't want to go up. I don't want to go up there when the warehouse is empty. Gotta have your Berkeleys.
Yeah, I'll just put in a form and be like, okay, you guys can just ship me these when they come in.
Right. Yep. Oh, yeah, I mean, you could double your money selling them on eBay.
Oh yeah, probably even triple, close to it.
Probably. Yep.
But I just put them in my boat, and that'd be at the end of it.
Right. B group. I originally picked Taco Ito.
Same with me. I originally picked him too.
And then I was digging around a little bit more, and I ended up picking Austin Felix. There's a possibility I may change that before the event starts, but I don't know. Nothing against Taku, but what do you have? 3 top 10s up north last year.
Yep.
Champlain, St. Clair, and St. Lawrence. So I'm not going to call that a fluke, but I don't know. I just think Austin Felix he's a little bit better offshore. I mean, I think this year a lot more of the guys are going to be fishing grass. I think there's going to be more guys fishing for largemouth this year than previous years. But I don't know. I think Austin Felix, he's the guy that's going to find something that some of the other guys aren't doing, and that's usually for him offshore.
And he did fish in FLW, and FLW usually makes a appearance on Champlain every year.
Right.
So he's got some experience there.
Yep.
On that same note, I also originally picked Ito, and then I went with another FLW guy. I went with Matt Airy.
Yeah.
9.1%. Coming off a really good classic, and I think he's got plenty of experience there. And you know what? I'm just going for it now. I mean, there's really no reason to play it safe, other than to have pride that I beat Matt. But you know what? I don't care.
Right. Yeah, and it's totally about trying to win an event right now, like whether it's regular fantasy fishing or drain the lake. And I'm sure we'll probably talk about that after our picks are done, because you have a strategy and I have a strategy. And that being said, though, I'm not gonna ramble off all my guys, because if I'm gonna win, I don't want anybody copying my picks.
Yep.
Yep. All right. C group. Go ahead.
I think there's no surprise on this one.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
I went with Jamie Hartman.
Yeah.
He is from New York, and he did really well last year on Champlain, and I expect him to do pretty well again this year.
Yeah, he finished in third behind Fighter last year at 78.5. Yeah.
Plus, I think he's a really good value. I mean, he's second, but Jeff Gustafson at 40%, like just taking a step down. I think you get somebody that might be better on Champlain. It's only 16% picked.
Right. And I don't know. I think Gussie's getting the percentage he is because he's Canadian, and people just immediately think of smallmouth and north. And I mean, nothing against Gussie. I mean, he's a great fisherman, but I I don't see it setting up perfectly for him. And I mean, he hasn't done like horrible there, but he
Yeah.
hasn't been a stud either.
I actually, after fishing Champlain and knowing what it's like, I like the southern guys have
Yeah,
just as
yeah,
much opportunity up there than the northern guys because there's areas to flip. Seth Fighter will go flip boat docks for days,
yeah.
and he proved that he could put a jig or flipping rod in his hand and
He would do
go down.
he would do morning bite. He would catch smallmouth, and then
Yep,
like midday, he would go and flip covered slips.
yep,
And obviously, you saw that. Was it a 6.6 that he pulled out last year?
yep.
It
I know it was
works.
over 6. Yep,
Yeah. Yep.
and that's the thing. Like last year, I caught my personal best largemouth on Champlain, and I was cranking a break wall,
Yeah.
and boom, 5.2,
5.2
just
is
like
your
that.
best.
Yep.
Hmm. Nice. That's good size for New York for a
Yeah.
largemouth.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it just cranking that wall. I mean, it's between the two walls is kind of is actually basically the border of New York and Vermont,
Mhm.
and there's like a break wall, and it was just right in the break wall, right in the hole. So
Nice. Good.
so you can do a lot of things up there. So I mean, don't always just pick the northern anglers on Champlain because I think there's
Right.
a lot of southern guys that could do well.
Right. For sure. Um, this C group is. I also went with Jamie Hartman first of all, but there's a couple other guys that I think are gonna do well or can do well. It should set up good for them. Um, I like Brian Schmidt here. He won the Open in 2016. He does have a fair amount of experience up there. Ed Lochran, I mean, just looking over the past events there, Leeds Opens, all that. He's actually finished pretty solid. And Bob Downey is somebody you could look at too. I think a northern angler, but I think he's from Wisconsin. So a lot of their lakes that kind of mirror what Champlain's going to give you. But I took Hartman.
Yep.
I like him up here. I mean, you put him on Oneida or Champlain or Cayuga, he's going to be a hammer. Period.
Yep, definitely. All right, D group,
D group.
my pick, or is it your pick? Your pick.
Yeah, we're snaking. So
Yep.
I was having trouble with this group, and
Yep. Same here.
um, I'm going to give you the two guys that I kind of like, but didn't pick them. Greg DePalma, I think he might be okay, and Todd Otten has some decent finishes up there. I did go with Micah Frazier.
Okay.
And a little hint toward the next tournament. I actually really like Micah Frazier at St. Lawrence. He's
Yep.
like one of my he's my secret for the next event. But no, I went with Micah Frazier. He what's he got here? Last year he had a 13th in the 2014 Open. He did 5th place. So it's just I don't know. It was the toughest group for me, so I just went with what I could come up with.
It was a tough group for me too until I finally found one guy, and you're gonna be surprised at this one guy.
Well, it's not Mueller because he's
Nope.
almost 40%.
Yeah, I had Mueller picked at the beginning, and then I was like, you know what, 40%. That's not taking a chance.
Now you're picking Jay Willie.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Jason Williamson.
my original lineup that I had put in, whenever it was that they opened this, the picks up, was Jay Willie, and he's actually done pretty well.
Yeah.
Up north here in the St. Lawrence, and I thought about it, and then I'm like,
He actually had a 5th place finish last year.
Mhm.
He's at 2.3%. He can flip. I mean, he's from the South Carolina, and he's pretty good flipper, and the uh, old school mentality, I guess.
Yeah, I I kind of I kind of thought you were. Once I started scrolling down through the names, I'm like, yeah, he went with Jay Willie, just because we had that bet a couple a month or so back.
I think there's a lot to like finding guys who've had past success but are very low ranked. Like,
Yes.
so he's only 2.3% ranked. Um, and if you're going to try to take a chance, the guys had success. He had a fifth place finish last year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit different, but actually, at this point, I think it's going to be more different in his favor.
Yeah, I agree there. I think it's definitely going to set up better for the guys, you know, fishing grass and shallow water green fish. Yep. And E group,
I think we had the same pick here.
maybe.
Did you switch it? We talked about this pick a few times in past
I
shows.
No, I'm going with Dustin.
Yep, same here.
Um, because of the fact that in the winter months he is down in Florida, fishing some of the Florida lakes, shallow grass. So he should be accustomed to that, and he's an excellent smallmouth fisherman if he wants to go after them. He doesn't have the greatest uh, track record up there. He did 44th last year. 2018, he did 163 in the Open.
Yep.
And 43rd in the 2016 Open. So he doesn't have the best finishes up there, but it fits how he fishes. And I've said it not a million times. I've probably said it a dozen times. He's due. He's due for a top 10.
Yeah. I mean, this group, uh, Bucket E is kind of. I mean, you can't go wrong with picking any of them just because I think Bucket E is a crapshoot no matter what tournament you're on.
Yeah. There are some decent names in here, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, Weidler, that's probably not a bad pick. Garrett Paquette, obviously he's 31%. But one guy that I really do like, and it may set up well for him, is the Kelly J, that jerk bait bite. It might be there. But Kelly also does like to throw that wacky worm quite a bit. So it could be a good pick to go with Kelly at 4.2%. That's it's not a bad pick.
Well, while we're on it, like I know somebody commented on the Bassmaster Classic about the own percentage not being anything. If you're actually trying to, get like a leg up and increase your standings, you have to pick people that other people aren't picking.
Right. I mean, you got to set yourself apart from the herd in some way.
Yep.
And I mean, if you just every week, if you go and you take the chalk pick, you're probably going to end up in 70th percentile, 75th, somewhere around there, probably right where I am.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is like, if you just pick the chalk every time, and you may have a great event, but so is, most of the field,
Right.
So
Yep.
it's not bad picking chalk picks when you know that chalk pick's going to do really well.
Right.
But you have to take chances here and there.
Yeah. One thing I'm curious to see with not to get ahead of ourselves, but with the St. Lawrence event, because you're going to have a whole bunch of hammers in the A group that do excellent on the St. Lawrence, and it's going to be interesting to see how the percentage filters out throughout the group. I mean, especially between the Johnston brothers, obviously I think Corey would get a bigger percentage, but it'd be interesting to see how it breaks out.
I don't know. Chris won that event last year.
Did I say Chris? I think Chris will get the majority of.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Chris will. Yeah.
I mean, Champlain would be an event where I'd pick Corey over Chris.
Yes.
Yep. But I mean, Chris is definitely a lock next tournament.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, St. Lawrence is going to be definitely an interesting one to see. I mean, it's definitely a tournament I'm not picking Seth Fighter, and I understand he's like leading AOI and all that, and there might be a lot of people who pick him on St. Lawrence, but it's probably the one place wouldn't even think of picking him.
If he does like a top 20 this week, he's probably gonna mathematically eliminate anybody else from getting AOI as long as he catches a couple fish, at the St. Lawrence. So he may not be, guns blazing. He might just go out and have a fun 2 days of fishing and just call it a year.
Yeah.
There's nothing to prove really after that.
But the one thing with Fighter is to me, like, he's a northern guy in a southern guy's body, because like he's from the north, but he fishes more like southern. Like he does a flipper.
Right.
I know that Minnesota area, there's a lot of guys that flip grass, and
yeah.
I've never seen coverage of Seth Fighter like out in the middle of a lake drop shotting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen very much of it at all, but
I can't really recall any time I've seen him like fishing way offshore. Yep. Or like fishing out where Chris was last year, Lake Ontario, for in like 3-footers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And honestly, if somebody wins, I'll be surprised if somebody wins the St. Lawrence and it's not on a Berkeley flatworm.
I agree. If you look at a year or two previous to last year, so like 19ish or 18, like the hot bait was what, the Z-Man Fatty Z's or whatever they were using. So I mean, it almost seems like every couple of years there's something new and a little bit better. But I don't know. How are you going to beat a flatworm right now? Like the Z-Man stuff it's got no scent, no flavor stuff to it.
Yep.
And that's the huge kicker right there, is just having something that the fish are going to bite and just hold on to, rather than bite into a Z-Man and be like, that ain't real.
I mean, this year I've gotten to test. I bought a bunch of X-Zone stuff, and I had some Berkeley stuff, and I've actually, I've been around fish to where I drop down the flatworm, they'll crush it, and I'll immediately switch to an X-Zone, same size bait, drop it down, and I might get a fish, but most of the time I don't. I'll put the Max Scent flatworm back on, boom.
Yeah.
I mean, there's science right there. I mean, it's.
And honestly, I love my flatworms, but we were talking about this a couple days or a week ago. Actually, the flatworms aren't my favorite Max Scent bait. I really, really like the Max Scent jerk shads. So it's a bigger profile, it's longer, and to me, it's maybe an inch longer, but it's a little bit thicker and fatter, and to me, it just kind of weeds out some of those small little junk fish. Yep. For me, I mean, I use those a lot, and I use hitworms. I mean, I use those two way more than I use flatworms. And it's not that I don't have the flatworms, I do, but I'm going to use what works the best for me. So, and they work good.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten away with just like taking half of a Max Scent General and just using half of that and putting it on just like I was, nose hooking a flatworm.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times what I'll do with like if I'm fishing a wacky rig, if I got that little O-ring and that bait starts to split, I'll just rip it in half, and like you said, throw it on a drop shot or something and give it a couple minutes, see if it works. If not, then goes in the recycle bin. But but I did catch a largie yesterday with one of your X-Zones.
Did you?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, they do work, but I mean, there's definitely proof where that Max Scent is it's incredible.
Yep. And I just put an order in with Dick's Sporting Goods because I had a bunch of rewards that I needed to use because I bought that kayak. And I ended up buying a pack of the KVD Dream Shots. So I've never used those. I bought one pack, kind of like a Gobi type color. So I want to see how those will work. Worth a try.
We definitely have some, what are we, 3 weeks away from our our trip to Keuka.
1, 2, 3 weeks. Yeah, we'll be fishing in 3 weeks from now.
Yeah. So we have we're Matt and I are doing a trip, just the two of us, to Keuka
Yep.
Lake, one of the Finger Lakes, and
Yep.
I think we'll probably bust out a bunch of videos then.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think we'll be all right. Yeah, we should be able to.
we have our project that we're working on, our,
Hmm.
our drop shot rod project.
Yeah, and but for this one here, I mean, we did quite a bit more brainstorming on lengths, blanks, your grips, reel seats, everything. And I mean, like Scott likes different setup than I like. He likes the EVA, I like the winds, and everybody's got their own preference. But we're just trying to find a good package that'll fit most.
Yep, and we'll be doing some videos on that and showing everybody what we came up with and getting that out. It's going to be our first production rod, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though they're still going to be like by order, but um, that'll be kind of the cookie cutter that we
Yep.
use.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I do like the wind grips. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
I just wanted to try it with the EVA just to see the difference.
Right.
I'm sure we'll both use each rod and
Yep.
see how it goes. But
Yep.
yeah, so that's to come. We need to do our stealth sportsman picks before we get
Oh,
too
that's
much.
right. Yes. All right. Do you want to pick 3 this time? You want to pick ACE?
Okay.
I'll set you up with 3 guys. You want to do that, and I'll do B and D.
Yep. I'm gonna pull this up right here.
All right.
All right. We got. So you're giving me ACE and you're gonna do BD.
Yeah, I'll give you 3 guys for A, C, and E, and you give me which one of the 3 you like.
Okay.
All right. Gerald Swindle, brand new, and Corey Johnson.
That's one way. That's one way to get me to pick Corey Johnson.
For no, right? I mean, Swindle's got plenty of
Yeah.
experience up there, but
Yeah, he's still in that show me phase. And after we pick this, I have a public announcement to make after this. After
Oh, boy.
we do these picks.
Okay.
All right. Oh, wrong guy.
So you're picking Corey Johnson?
Yep, Corey Johnson.
All right.
All right. B group. I will say this may be the last time he can get picked this year because he may be DQ'd for St. Lawrence. We're going with John Cox. We can talk about that in a little bit.
All right.
Matt Robertson.
Mhm.
And let's go with John Cruz.
John Cruz, you would think would be picked a little higher, maybe, but I don't know. I don't like him up here for some reason. He gives me a weird vibe. John Cox would probably be a great pick. That Florida shallow water grass flipping. I'm gonna go with Onum. Go with Mr. Robertson.
By the way, he did really well for us at the Classic.
Yeah,
he's a good pick.
So did Hank Cherry. We did take Cherry and Stout Sportsman pick, didn't we?
Yeah.
Let me look back at my notes here. Yes, we did.
We can just go back real quick and
50. What was the final weight for the Classic anyway?
It was 50 pounds, something else.
That's it. 37, 50 pounds, 15, something like that. That was pretty low, so we were off on the weights.
Yeah, but we had Cherry and Robertson. I mean,
Yep.
1,200 is a pretty good score.
Yeah, not too bad. Yep. All right. C group. Give you 3. Bob Downey. Crazy Aussie Carl, and Brian Schmidt.
We're gonna go with Schmidt.
All right. And you're probably wondering why I didn't take my boy Chad Pipkins this week. I've been on like a Pipkins kick the last year.
Bad hair day.
Yeah, bad hair. Calling for lots of wins, so I'm not picking him.
Yeah. All right, Group D. Let's go with Jake Whitaker. I'll give you Greg DePalma and Clark Wendland.
If you gave me Jake Whitaker for St. Lawrence, I'd take him just because they're launching and weighing in at Whitaker Park. But that's nor here nor there. But we'll go Clark Wendland. He's due. Yep. Lots of FLW experience up there.
All right, E group.
All right, 3 for you. Chris Grow. You know he's going to have some insight because I believe he stays with the Johnson brothers and Fighter when he's on the road.
Yep, Johnston Brothers, Fighter, Gustafson, Grow, and I believe Matt Robertson's in that group now too.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more stuff with Matt Robertson and Fighter lately. A lot of pictures of them two together.
They are Team Cup or Tin Cup whiskey, which.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
We're actually gonna have a review on some Tin Cup whiskey coming up soon.
Yes. I've still never had it, so it's going to be a good initial first impression.
Mine is still sealed. Yep, mine is still sealed also, so that's going to be a at the same time.
All right. All right. So Chris Grow, Kelly J, and wow. Rick Clun.
I'm going to go with Kelly J. We're going to see how that jerkbait does.
Okay. And if the jerkbait doesn't work, the wacky rig will, because it always works.
What's our weight there, sir?
77.5, 81. So we're 4.2. Let's go 79.7. Should be right there in the middle. All right. It's weird because I always pick like 81.8, 71.7, 6.96. It's always two of the same numbers in my weights.
Yeah, and I always go with 7s and 5s. Those are always just numbers that they're kind of house numbers.
Yep.
All right, so 3 anglers that just kind of news. 3 anglers that are not going to be competing the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Clint Davis, who wrecked his shoulder or something, I think it was.
Okay.
Rick Morse, who is also like a health exemption or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brett Pruitt, I believe it was.
I think so.
And he just decided that he's going to bow out for the last 2 events and focus on other things.
Yeah.
So those guys are no longer in it.
Yeah, I mean that's why the E group there is a little short compared to the other groups.
Yeah, and then there is going to be like I think they said 20 guys or so that are going to get cut this year, and they're not going to be, and they're only going to be bringing 12 in from the opens. So
yeah,
this field's going to cut down, and I'm sure the groups are going to get a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I actually hope it does.
Yeah.
Yep. Because that way the weigh-ins won't take as long.
Some other news. I know Brandon Polinick just got married, so that actually is some insider info that I'm going to share, and part of the reason I didn't pick him.
Okay.
I think he might be on a little honeymoon, whatever you want to call it.
let me tell you a little quick story. The Bass Nation event that was down here in Erie is literally going on a week ago. It was Wednesday through Friday. The guy that won the overall tournament, and I forget his name offhand, he was actually on like his honeymoon. Like him and his wife had just got married a couple weeks or a month ago, but this was, I guess, kind of like their actual honeymoon. But she was actually fishing on the boat as the non-boater with him, and
Really?
he ended up winning the whole thing. So that was pretty cool.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, as I said, I have a public service announcement. Um, I am going to apologize to Mr. Hank Cherry and
Oh, boy.
say we've hated on him for like 2 years now, and I'm going to say that I think he's a stand-up guy, and I know sometimes that your job gets away, can make you look like a jerk compared to, what you actually are. Because some of
Yeah.
these guys are so focused that it may look like their attitude is not good.
Yeah.
But I think he's come around, and just in the just what he did and what he said during his classic speeches, um, I feel different towards him.
Yeah. I totally agree. I follow him and a bunch of other guys on Twitter and stuff like that, and like a lot of his Twitter posts and stuff, he's just you you get a different glimpse from the other side of the camera that you only see on Bassmaster Live or FS or whatever. But
Yeah.
to actually kind of see like well, at least from his point of view, what's actually going on, and just him posting pictures with his kids, offshore fishing. What he caught like is it a flounder or something? He had a picture of it on Twitter that they caught. But yeah, he seems like a genuine guy. I think he just in the past he's just kind of come across as kind of jerkish, but that's just him, I think, being focused in what he's doing, and just maybe not being as personality wise open as some of the other guys that you see on TV a lot.
Yeah. I agree. All right. I think that's.
I got him right here. I'm just gonna run through Ant's picks. Fighter, Takuito, Chad Pipkins, Paul Mueller, and Dustin Demarion, 83-2.
Nice.
Yep. Good lineup.
Yeah.
And she sent me her lineup before I made my picks, and she's like, "Don't be stealing my lineup." No.
At this point in the year, like I took a bunch of chances on my lineup, just trying to win an event.
Yeah. And Lake Champlain in this month's Bassmaster is ranked number 4 for the Northeast Division, right here. And then also in the 10th spot is Presque Isle Bay, Pennsylvania. That's where I go fishing a couple times a week. Yep.
Sweet.
Made the list.
Yeah. I will say Champlain, it's an awesome place. When you're there, like everything around you looks amazing. You got the mountains, and you can see over to Vermont, and
yeah, it is a beautiful area.
And it's
I've never fished the lake, but I've been there, and I think there's a ferry that goes across there too, isn't there?
Yeah.
They're actually taking the ferry across, so it's a cool little ride.
Yeah, we actually were going down the lake when the ferry was going across, so we kind of had to go around.
Yep.
But I will say that there's quality fishing there. You're gonna catch if you hook up with a fish, smallmouth or largemouth, it's gonna be probably 2 pounds, pretty close to it, if not bigger.
Yeah.
The fishing is really good there, and we went middle of September. It was good times. My wife caught a real nice pike, and it was just enjoyable.
Yeah. It's nice being kind of those lakes that are away from like any type of big city. I mean, I don't know how big Plattsburgh is. I've never really visited there, but I know Burlington on the other side. I've been there, but it's just a lake kind of out in the middle of some mountains, and there's not much going on out there. It's just nice and serene, kind of like some of the Canada trips we've taken.
Yep.
Yeah, just nice, clean air.
Yeah, it's really nice up there, and yeah, I recommend anybody to go up there.
Yeah, I had a I think it was yesterday. I was kind of like, I wanted to go to the talking about going to the classic, didn't go to the classic, and then I'm like, oh well, we got this Bass Nation event here in Erie, and all 3 days I didn't want to go down and play with the mob with the weigh-ins and all that and parking, and I didn't even take the boat out of any of those 3 days, and and I had this epiphany. I'm like, hey, maybe we should drive up for for Champlain, and then I'm like, that's a long drive.
It's it is a long drive. I think it's like 6 hours for me.
Yeah.
So tack on an extra two or so for you.
Yep.
So I
No.
mean, if you're going up there, you got to make it at least a 3 to 4 day trip, if
Yeah.
not
Yep.
longer.
Yeah. Yep. Make it worthwhile. So no, I won't be going. No. You want to go in Lake Champlain?
Hell yeah.
She says, heck yeah. Of course she does.
Yeah, it's like 6.5 hours for me, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's no joke going through the mountains with a boat, um, yelling at cars to speed up because I'm trying to carry some
Yep.
speed through the hills.
I've never ridden through the mountains with a boat and pole. I've done it with a motorcycle on a trailer behind me going up to New Hampshire, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It's not fun. Yep.
I will say that it's an awesome trip to go up through those mountains, and
Yeah.
being on a motorcycle would be really cool to do.
Yes, it would be. All right. Anything else you want to cover before we
don't think
start
so.
rambling? Before we start rambling on.
No, I think we're good. The St. Lawrence video will be kind of rushed in. It's a back to back.
What, do you want to do that? Like, do you want to get it up Monday, or I mean, we could even put that up Saturday or Sunday while Champlain's going on.
Well, we can't do it until they put out the group.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So either Sunday night or Monday it'll go up.
Well, like yesterday, I was sitting down, I was doing all my Champlain notes and stuff, and then I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm like, I'll just start on my St. Lawrence notes. So
Nice.
I'm ready, almost ready to go.
Do you want to do a quick couple of minutes on Drain the Lake?
Yes. I know. I think our strategies for the last two are slightly different. I'm putting more weight onto trying to win the St. Lawrence event, and I think you were trying to win Champlain.
I think I can actually have a shot at winning both. But yeah,
I do too, but I'm focusing more so on the St. Lawrence because I think it's easier to focus on who's going to do well at catching smallmouth because the largemouth bite, it's not as prevalent, and your weights probably aren't going to be able to make you as competitive there.
Yep. So I think for me, I have some southern guys who are flippers.
Yep.
I have some northern guys that I have in my lineup, and
Yeah, I have a good mix.
yeah.
I'm not going to give you all my guys. I'll throw four of those guys out there that I'm going to have in my Drain the Lake. Still got Scott Martin available. He's definitely going on my team. I like Cobra Krieger. I like his top water game. He did pretty well last year. Hartman, fighter. Felix. I got a couple other guys too, but
Let's see. I have Fighter, Polinick, Hartman, and I think the one guy, I don't know if we really talked about him, but he did really well last year. Kobe Krieger.
I just said Kobe Krieger in his
Sorry.
topwater game. Yeah. Now every time, like in the past, our pick shows, every time in the past, I'm like, oh, you gonna take Kobe Krieger because there's gonna be a topwater bite.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I have a really good shot at Drain the Lake this week, and then I still have a bunch of guys for St. Lawrence.
I have my Drain the Lake already picked out for St. Lawrence, and I just look at it and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna crush. Yeah. So I'm super excited.
I'm sure you have both of the Johnson brothers.
Yep.
So do I.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tear it up next week. Drain the Lake. Yeah. It's gonna be at least 22 to 2,400 points, I would think.
We're definitely gonna have a lot of shows.
2,200. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Like those 8 guys, probably 6 of them would be in the top 10.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna have a lot of shows, I think, in the off season going over Drain the Lake stuff, because after they cut the roster, I mean, there's gonna be you're gonna have to use every guy.
Yeah.
Next year.
And you're literally gonna have to plan it out ahead of time. I mean, you don't have to wait for groups or buckets or whatever to come out. It's these 8 guys, and you could get to the last 2 events and be like, who's fishing the St. Lawrence for me, right?
Exactly. I think the fun thing is going to be is you always add in those extra guys fishing the Classic. So you can always count on a few guys there, a couple guys, but it's definitely going to be something you have to plan out ahead of time. And
yeah, because you're going to get 3/4 of the way through the season, and you're going to be like, oh, I've done messed up. Yep.
So yeah, I think we'll do some shows on that, especially after the schedule comes out.
Yeah.
And we know what's going on, and we know who's going to be fishing next year.
But also at the same time too, there's a couple ways to look at it, and similar to this year, but this year doesn't really count because you still have so many guys left to pick these last 2 events here. Next year, when you're not going to have many guys left over, you can focus on one tournament and just try and win that week for whatever monetary prize or whatever it is, or you can try and get your points for the whole season.
Yep.
And that's going to be a big factor in whatever strategy you got, people run with. Yeah. I would be more apt to focus on 1 or 2 tournaments, say back up here north, rather than try and equal it out over the whole season.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see what lakes they go to next year. I hope we see some new stuff.
Right.
I mean, we've seen St. Lawrence a lot. We've seen St. John's River a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
I hope they don't go to Gunnersville again, because they've
right.
already fished that 3 times in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see them on some fisheries that are producing some big fish, and they do. I don't know. They've kind of been away from like Clear Lake and all the stuff out west. So it kind of rotates every couple of years. So I think hopefully we might see some stuff out a little bit more west next year.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
Because they really haven't been anywhere west of Pickwick. That's about as far west as they've been.
I mean, anything in Texas is probably as far west as they've gone. But
yeah, Texas or yep.
They haven't been much farther west than the Tennessee River.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. Actually, I wouldn't mind even seeing them venture into Canada at some point.
They should. I mean, if you have Canadian anglers, I mean, as long as restrictions and whatever might be going on, then as long as everything's cleared up and good to go, that would be interesting. Yep.
And I think they probably even play it safe next year with all the COVID stuff still.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see another schedule where they cram everything towards the front end.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be like every year, just kind of anxiously waiting like for your football NFL schedules to come out and your Bassmaster schedules to come out. But
Yep. Speaking of which, the NFL schedule is now 17 games for each team, not 16.
so are they getting rid of the bye week?
Nope, they
Or
still have a
just
bye week. They still have a bye week. They just have an extra week added on.
Huh. So they are they shortening the preseason?
I don't know. I think they still have.
And now they're just going to go and they're going to have to like all the record books and everything. There's going to be asterisks next to everybody's name. Oh, this guy did it in 16 games. This guy did it in 12. That guy did it in 17.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get more revenue.
There's 3 preseason games, and the season starts on September 12th is the Sunday. So September 9th for the football season.
All right.
I only figured that out because I, for some reason, looked at the schedule when I started doing the Bills squares for the season.
Okay.
I'm like, oh yeah, my numbers are all off because it's actually an extra game that I wasn't planning on.
Oh. Oops.
Well, no, I saw it before I put the square sheet
Okay.
out, so I planned for it. But I had it all planned in my head before that for 16 games instead of 17.
Yeah. Yep.
So I added on the Super Bowl and made it 18 games.
There you go. That works.
Yeah. All right.
Well, right now for Plattsburgh next week, obviously it's a week out still, but you got mid to upper 70s Thursday, Friday, and then low 80s Saturday, Sunday. Most of it's partly cloudy. So it's as of right now, the weather looks halfway decent up there.
Yeah, I mean, like most of it up here in the north, like just wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's.
I mean,
I mean, the wind changes so much here. It's stupid.
yeah, I mean we were planning on fishing tomorrow and tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
Well, let me just see if the weather changed or not.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to. All of a sudden, it turned into rain tomorrow. So
Okay.
yeah,
we went out. We went out yesterday morning for, probably 4 or 5 hours, and I think I caught 4, and she got a couple. But it wasn't a great day. But we also had a little bit of a front coming in too, and just like clockwork, our bike died off right, probably 9:30, like it always does. But yeah, there was some solid chop out there yesterday at the bay. Yeah, it was fun.
nice.
Alrighty, we'll shut this down before we hit the hour mark, right?
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. If you've made it this far, you're a real trooper.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, he's Matt. I'm Scott. We're Stout Sportsmen. Like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate that. Until next time, stay stout, and we're out.
We're out.